Good morning, magandang umaga po. In one of my most recent videos, someone asked me the question, just how did you plan for your retirement? That's what we're going to talk about. Stay with me. How did I plan for my retirement? That's a tough question. Here's an answer. I did not. Now, will I be planning in the future if I had a choice? Yes, I will. But let me show you first the question posed to me by this lady. Hi po. I just saw your YouTube account and subscribed. I'm a 30-year-old woman, married, and just recently moved here to the US. Can you please post tips on how you prepared for your retirement? Also, interested to know how did you plan your investments here and in the Philippines? Thank you po. Glad to see valuable contents here on YouTube. Now there you have it. So again, the answer to the question is I did not. Let me give you a quick background on how my career progressed and how I supported a family that led to where I am today. Okay? But the short answer to the question is no, I did not do any financial planning. I'm a financial guy, I'm a certified public accountant, but the first thing I did when I came to the US is exactly that. I said, okay, what do I need to get from where I am today to where I want to be or where I need to be? So I did that. And keep in mind, back then, I had to do this in pencil and paper, and I was using columnar forms. Columnar forms are the ones with the columns to try to project the future. No computers yet at that time, well, other than mainframe, big, huge, humongous computers. No laptops, no Excel, no Word, no nothing. So I was doing it manually. So it was a tedious effort. The bottom line, I folded everything and I said, if I do what I need to do in terms of savings, we will not be able to eat. So I said, the heck with this. The way to do it is, how do I increase my earnings? How do I make more money? That is the object. Because if I will just rely on my present savings and assume a certain appreciation rate, I will never get to the end game. So I said, I need to work on my career. I need to improve what I'm doing now. I need to make more money. That's the solution. So I dropped everything, and what I did is I focused on children's education. I did not have kids yet, but of course I plan to have kids right away. So that's what I focused on. And because I decided I cannot rely on savings to send my kids to private schools. By the way, my wife and I argued about public school, private school, and glad she prevailed. We sent them to private schools. My thought at the time is I would rather save the money for the college education, but my wife said, no, kids will have to go to private school to get the right schooling, because you will succeed in a public school, don't get me wrong, but it will require a lot of effort and your kids will have to be cut for it, and some kids do okay, many kids don't do okay. So my wife prevailed because I figured, well, she's the one who's going to take care of the kids and will be looking after the home. My job is to get out and bring money to put food on the table. I will focus on my career. You go ahead and focus on raising the kids, and if you feel the kids should go to private schools, then send them to private school. I worked hard. I did part-time real estate at the time, which of course did not work out. I did tax returns and accounting services, which I did very well on that. I was coming home doing tax returns. I go to hospitals and all nurses were coming to me to prepare not only the US tax returns, but also the Philippine tax returns, which nobody can do. Well, I shouldn't say nobody, which very few people in the United States can do. I was coming home with a lot of money coming out of my pocket. But the problem is, it's seasonal. After the tax season, no job. I had a couple of clients to do accounting services for, so I made some money on that. And then I also became, this is after I got my CPA career, or my CPA under my belt. I was able to teach for a couple of years at a Philadelphia university. Taught subjects in accounting, cost accounting. So I became a lecturer. And but anyway, when I finally got my CPA, that is when my career started going up. I moved from ARA Services, moved to Sun Oil Company. Halfway in my career, okay, halfway, I lost my job. So I reverted to consulting for maybe a couple of years. And at the time, I was very, very close to getting my kids out of college. I think one was in college, the other one was in high school, approaching college. I can't remember if they were both in college. But anyway, they have a 4 or 5 year gap. So one is in college, the other one is in high school, but getting into college. So I was very close to getting them out of school because it's very expensive to send kids to school. And I was close to filing for bankruptcy. Then my previous company, the company I used to work for, called me and offered me a job. But at the time, I no longer want to be in finance or accounting. I wanted sales because I found my niche in sales. In that company, I grew all the way up to within a year, I became president of the Mexican subsidiary. So I went to Mexico City, worked there for 5 years, going back on weekends and staying there. I had my own apartment in Mexico City. So I did very well at that time. Then I lost my job again. Let me see. I was out of work again because we sold the companies. We went through a merger and acquisition type deal, and so I sold the company and I got into real estate to become a real estate broker. And at the time, I was very, very successful in raising the business, in getting the business up and running, because I wanted to give this to my children. But none of my kids were interested in real estate. So anyway, so I just kept on working in real estate for the meantime. And in 2008, we got hit with the financial crisis. So how did I survive? I survived by specializing in short sales. That is when people cannot afford to sell their house. And if they want to sell their house, they will sell it at less price than what used to be the fair market value. And sometimes they're underwater. They cannot sell it because it's not enough money for them to pay off the mortgage that they have. That's what you call short sales. So I specialize in that, and I negotiated with banks to accept a lower valuation and forgive the difference. Okay? I don't know if you follow that, but anyway, it's a very difficult one. And at the time, there were not too many people who understand short sales, including the banks. So I had to educate them on what this is all about. I said, yay, if you foreclose on this property, then you put it in the market, guess what? You will get less money, okay, than what if you approve it today. And I'm offering you a price and forgive the difference in mortgage. It's a little bit complicated, but that is not the object. The object here, the purpose here is to tell you that I went through bumps in my career and I succeeded until I retired in 2016. Well, before I retired 2016, about 2 or 3 years before then is when I started the so-called financial plan. I said, okay, based on where I am today, how am I going to survive retirement? Well, luckily, because I worked hard and I made a lot of money, I had some savings in spite of all the money that I have spent for children's college education. So I saved some money. So I said, I'm lucky I have this, and I think I will survive through this. I invested mostly in real estate before, not too much because I got burned also in real estate. Early on, I bought raw land in Florida, and after so many years, I sold it, and the proceeds of that sale paid for my daughter's wedding. So there wasn't much left, not much money left. So I tried to survive on that, and I cannot tell you about where to invest, how to invest, because that's an entirely different topic. Where to invest depends on your stomach, how well you can accept failures or setbacks in whatever you're doing, whatever investment you're doing. But I invested primarily in stocks and real estate. On real estate, primarily on my home real estate. I upgraded to a higher priced home because I wanted to, and also because I'm not relying on other people to respect the property and not destroy it, but yet values continue to go up. So that is where I got most of my retirement money from. So bottom line is, I did not really do any financial plan, but now I do have a plan. Okay, I do have a plan, and that's why I'm investing some in stocks. Okay, but you have to be very careful when you invest in stocks, because that could be volatile depending on the conditions in the marketplace. Political, economic situation in each country will be different. I did not put any investment in the Philippines because I did not have a plan to retire in the Philippines until 2015 or 2016. I think it was 2016 when I went back to the Philippines, and I realized my first plan was to retire in Delaware State. And I said, oh gee, Philippines seemed to be a good place to retire. So I did not plan anything until that time. So the bottom line is, you have to consider what your present needs are and what your future needs are before you can plan on retirement. Again, if I decided to do planning at the time I was just starting, there is no way I can do anything unless I give up eating. But I had to eat, okay? And the money when I started was not that good. It was small. And that's why my solution is work on this income first and make it grow. I finance the children's education not through savings. In fact, my children thought there is like a slush fund, or what they call a college trust fund. I said, no, I paid your tuition based on my current earnings. That means you have to make a lot of money to be able to do that. But of course, when you retire, all that money disappears. No more current income other than Social Security and your pension plan, and some savings in the bank account. Like what I said, I worked hard to make money grow, paid for my children's education, they graduated. Meanwhile, my money was still good, still big, so I was able to accumulate some savings that will pay for my retirement. Not a whole lot, believe me, but I think I will be okay. So I hope that helped you. I cannot talk to you much about, as I mentioned earlier, details on where to invest your money, where to put your money. It all varies. Even real estate, which in the long term always appreciates, could depreciate in the short term. So you just have to look into all those things. Okay? So I hope this helped you, and I hope I answered your question. By the way, I thank that person very much for making that suggestion, because I think that is very important. And I will appreciate your liking and subscribing to my channel. Thank you so much, and make it a great day.